Okay dudes, so episode 8 I think, and today we're going to do a main menu. So we were supposed to do more combat, but I had some requests to do this instead. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it relatively simply, but we're just going to get it done out of the way and show you guys how to set it up. Now, while I've been away, there's been a few things. The first one is there's been a lot of updates to the engine, and there's been the removal of the object root node. So I don't know if you guys remember before, but we had this object root node here. And inside of this root node is where we would have our objects. Now, we were doing it all on the base layer, but we're going to completely change that up because this root node has been depreciated. Okay, so what we do next is these object root nodes are no good anymore, so we just make sure you drag this back onto your parallax 2D layer, right? These are where your objects are going to go anymore, and you can delete the object root node. And let me delete this. So I'm just going to show you what we're going to make today. And what we're going to make today is the main menu. And now this looks pretty terrible, but the functionality is what we're kind of dealing with here. So we load into the game, we've got a background image and we've got a menu image, and when we move about we can choose different options. We can jump into the game, and I haven't built the continue and the options yet because we'll do those one at a time as we get to them. Each one of them will take a while, but I've also built the quick game because that's super easy. Okay, so the first thing that we need is we need some images. So you'll see I've got two images here. The first one is our menu background, so I put it all into one image just so it's easy to use. It's the video thumbnail. Super simple. And then on top of it I've got my menu set up like this, so you'll notice there's new game, continue, options, quit, and it's split into 4, right? So we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, and each one I've got a different highlight. And the reason I've done it this way is because we're going to animate that picture. Now, I'm not going to explain how we go over animations again, but you guys know how to do it basically. When we set up our object controller, we'll be setting up animations for that. But for now, what we want to do, the first thing we want to do for our title scene is create a new scene. So to do that, you just click plus, and you click game scene, and you can name it title underscore scene, and you're good to go. And you'll end up with a blank scene. And you'll also want a object for controlling it. So I made one called title menu controller. Again, to create a new object, you just go plus, go game object. Now it's important in this one you use no setting, even though we will be using buttons to move. I'll explain why in a minute. And empty object. And so I'll just show you guys real quickly. Let's say I'm setting up a new game object. Let's call this menu controller 2. No settings, blah blah blah, that's all fine, and we click create, and you'll end up with a blank thing. So what you'll see here is you have collision shape 2D, base, movement, variables, and settings. And I've added a couple here for setting up our menu. One of them is the sprite 2D, so to add that you would just say add child node sprite 2D. You add your sprite 2D, and from there you will be pulling across your menu animation. So if I pop open the sprite 2D, I drag texture in here, we get this. And you guys know how to set this stuff up using animation here, where you set it to like vertical frames 4, horizontal frames 1, or whatever your image is split into, and you'll get this. And you guys know how to do animations. You'll be adding an animation player and assigning this sprite 2D to this animation player, exactly how we've done with the player controller in here. And what you'll end up with is, I'm not going to save this because I have one already. What you'll end up with is like this. I have the animation player and I have all these animations. I've created a continue animation, I've created a new game animation, an options animation, and a quick game animation. So that's pretty simple and super easy to understand. And basically what that means is if I look through my animation player here and I look at the animations, new game shows new game, continue will be the one with continue highlighted, options is options, and quick game is quick game. So we're not going to go over that, how to build that again, because we've done animations a few times now. There's no need to do it again. So with all that set up, all we want to do is we want to add our visual script. You know how to do that. You'll right click, you'll click add script, attach script and visual script, and then you'll want to go into your visual script settings. Now today, as I said, we're only going to work on creating the new game and the quick game. But what we're going to do is we're going to have the menu hover through everything. We're just not going to have the functionality for options and continue. Okay, so what I've done here is I have set up a start state, and then I've set up states for new game, states for continue, options and quick game. And I run my start state, which runs by default as soon as the menu loads. And right here we're using an unconditional switch into our new game. So that sets up the basics. Basically we start the game, this runs, it sets us onto our new game setting, which will of course highlight our new game image right here. So it'll put us in the new game animation because I have assigned the new game animation to the script that you see here. If we look at the animations, new game uses new game animation, continue uses continue, and so on. So this just gets us where we need to go to start really quickly. So then all we need to do to switch between them is from new game, we'll create a shortcut, and this is how I done all this. Make a shortcut. Then I would say, well, if I'm on new game, where do I want to go? Well, if I press down, I want to go to continue, right? Obviously. And if I press up, I want to go to quick game because we want to do this in a loop. So this is down and this will be a continuous loop. So then I could make a shortcut off this. And again, we'll just add the conditions, add a link. So we go from up to new game. We can't connect these because they're connected already. But if you look here, you'll see that I've set it up here. And basically all we're saying is from new game to quick game, if it satisfies all, and the reason I'm using satisfies all and not just a button check, right, is because we're going to have two conditions here. The first one is obviously the button that we're using. And I've just used, if we're using the move up button, you can use move left, move right, whatever button you want to assign to it. You know how to assign buttons by now. We've done that with our jump. And then what I've also done is I've put in this after a certain time passes, or elapsed time, and basically for 0.15 seconds. And the reason I put this in is because if I was to load this up and I was to press up, so it's going nice and slow, every 0.15 seconds it's moving up, 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 whereas if there was no time there, it would like infinitely move and you wouldn't be able to control it. So just put that little weight in there. So that's pretty much the basics of how we set this menu up. I don't need to go crazy with this. Obviously up, then we set the button for down to go to continue, and that's pretty much all we're doing here. We're setting it the exact same way, the exact same link. Then where are we going from continue? Well, if we're on continue and we press up or we press left, we want to go to new game. And if we're on continue and we press down and we press right, we want to go to options. So again, just the exact same setup, the exact same button inputs here. We're checking the button input and we are checking the elapsed time. Again, I know I'm kind of speeding over this stuff, but it's stuff that we've done already, and I feel it's like not necessary to go get carried away with it. So let me turn down this music a bit. And then obviously from options, we want to go to continue into quick game. And from quick game, when we press the up button, we go to options. When we press the down button to keep our loop going, we go to new game. So it really is that simple, and that's how we're setting it all up. So all you're doing is the same condition everywhere. You can even copy this condition and paste it for this one, and paste it for this one, and paste it for this one. And the same with the down button condition. You can copy it from the top one and paste it in them all. So with that done, what you'll have is this. You'll be able to come in here, down will go down and loop, and up will go up and loop. And that's pretty much the basics of it. So the next thing we're going to do is the easiest one to set up is the quick game. So for this menu and for quitting the game, from quick game, in between our options and our new game, what I done was I put in a condition. Now all I'm doing is I'm checking the button is pressed, And the button I'm checking is the jump button, which is A. You can make an OK button for the menu or whatever if you want in our project settings and inputs. But I'm just going to use the jump button. And basically, if we're on quick game and we press the jump button, we want to go to a new state. And let's say it will be called run quick game or quick close game or whatever you want to call this. And in here, all we're doing is we're adding an action, and the action we're adding is called close game. That's it. It's like super simple. You go in here, you look through this, and you'll find close game here somewhere, right here, and that will just completely close the game. So you see we've got reset game that we'll be using from our menu inside the game going forward, but close game is the one we want for this in particular. So what that does is literally exactly what we said. If we're on here and we go to quick game and we press the jump button, it closes the game. Super easy, nothing flash here. Okay, so now with all that set up, we want to create our start new game. So we want to go from here to start new game. And what I'm using here is I'm using the jump button again, the condition to go to a new state. The new state is called start game. And inside our start game, all we're adding again is one option. And that option just says to end scene, right? So add an executable action. And there will be an option here to end the scene. Here we go, end scene. You'll just be adding that. And what that'll do is it'll make this scene end. And basically the way Action Game Maker works is up here in scene transitions. What you do is when a scene ends, you can set an option for when this scene ends to take us to this scene. So this is our first level. So what we'd essentially be doing here is we'd be dragging our scenes out here. So for example, like this, we've got our title scene. We drag that in here, right? Let's say we have none in here. So we find our title scene down here. If I can find it. Here, title scene, title, it's here somewhere. Here we go, title scene. Drag them in. And we set this guy as our start scene. So we set the start. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find our test level scene, which I've called test room. I'm going to drag that in. And because of the way our script is set up, we're going to add a link between these two. And in here, we set all our options. So for example, when do we want to go from title scene to test scene? So we said when this scene ends, when title scene ends. So if we look in here in our conditions, what you will find is that is finished previous scene. So that means if this scene is finished, this is going to trigger and it's going to return true, and it's going to take us to our new scene. So what will happen now, and again, sorry for the overlap music, when I press new scene, hello, it's going to take me straight into the scene. But of course that's not very smooth, and you'll notice the last time we done it, we got this nice so again, from here to here, and it's not for, so we have loads of options here that we can play with. So let's look at our transition types. So for example here, before the switch effect, this is pretty much how this scene fades out, right? That's essentially what we're setting here. And what I'm going to say is I want this scene to, let's just say slide left, okay? So this scene is going to slide to the left, and for 1 second, it's going to keep the BGM going, which doesn't really matter because we don't have any set for this scene. And then right here after the switch effect, how do we want the new scene to come in? And what we're going to do with the new scene is we're going to make it slide up. We're going to start the BGM, that's fine, blah blah blah, all good. So now when we do this, you see we come in here, we press this, we should slide left to get rid of this, and then the new scene should slide up. So boom, boom. And that's exactly how this works. It's super easy, and that's how scene transitions work in general, but that's how we're going to go from our title scene to our actual game. So that's pretty much it for this one, dudes. I've just went to save myself time, I've went for a kind of method where I'm recording everything in one take, so I don't have to go chopping and changing and cutting up video and stuff like that. But that's the basic idea. That's how we're going to make it work. If you guys have any questions, don't stress to hit me up with a DM or something like that, or post in the Action Game Maker beta. But yeah, that's the method, and it's the method I'm going to use for all videos going forward, because all the editing I was doing on the older videos, it was taking me way too long, and like I'm not making any money from this, and it's really like it was taking me 5-6 hours for a video, and I was really eating into my time. So we're going to do it this way from now on, where I'm kind of doing things in real time, and the videos will be a little bit wordier and maybe a little bit less focused, but it'll save me a lot of time, so I'll be able to get the content out much quicker, if that makes sense. So yeah, if you enjoyed, or if you learned anything, maybe like and subscribe, follow the series, and next time we will go back to doing our combat number 2. So till then, peace.